Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Mahasham, Yahweh Shai, Mahasham, Ha, Racha, Kodash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder, Aharawan Banya Sharala of the Lions Den Camp, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. Salutations to the sincere Akim, preaching his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm in the car. Harab Banya Sharala coming out of the Lions Den Camp of Yasharala, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. Now today, I'll be coming out with a lesson. The title of this lesson is We Ought to Have the Same Mind to Work. And of course, this lesson was inspired by the brother Arayala of the Lions Den Camp of a recent lesson he just did about 12, 13 hours ago. The spirit of laziness must be rebuked, and he went in, just, saying, a point that he was making was just like, basically not being slack when it comes down to doing the work of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Not really letting things get in front of you, or get in front of you doing the work of Yahweh Bashim Shai. I say that, basically purposing it in your heart to do the work of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Don't put it off from day to day. Hating not laborious works, nor husbandry with the Lord ordained. But without further ado, let's just get right into it. This is Psalms 119 and 125. It says, I am thy servant. Give me understanding. It says, I am thy servant. Give me understanding that I may know thy testimonies. And this is, of course, this is a Psalm of David, a sundry prayer that we can pray because we are the servants of the Lord. And you can ask him to give you understanding. Understanding of what? First off, his laws, his statutes, his commandments, yes, his instructions, but also how he wants us to work according to him, how he wants us to do, when we're doing his work, how he wants us to be, so that we may know his testimony, so that we may know his words. Continuing, it says, it is time for thee, Yahweh, to work, for they have made void thy law. And it is time for the Lord to work, because this world that we're living in now, it is tried. It's a pathetic attempt, but it is tried to make void the laws of Yahweh Bashim Shai. So the Lord finna do a work in the earth to let everything in the earth know who he is. Let's continue. And who his men is too. Verse continuing, it says, therefore I love thy commandments above gold, yea, above fine gold. Therefore I esteem all thy precepts concerning all things to be right, and I hate the false way. So we can pray these prayers and having this heart and having this same sentiment that King David had, and walking according to the example that King David walked, because King David was a very righteous man. He was after the Lord's own heart. We can pray these same things, and we can have this same sentiment, loving the Lord's commandments above gold. Above fine gold. Esteeming his precepts and everything that the Lord considers and concerns, concerning those things to be right in his eyes, and hate every false way. Because if you are contrary to anything that the Lord has straightly charged us and or told us to do, guess what? You can't build correctly. You can't have the mind. You can't have the same mind to work. So you have to have the heart and the mind of Yahweh Bashim Shai in order to work, to be on one accord. And if I didn't say it, I'll say it again. The title of this lesson is We Ought to Have the Same Mind to Work for Yahweh Bashim Shai. Continuing, it says, thy testimonies are wonderful, therefore doeth my soul keep them. So the testimonies of the Lord are wonderful, so therefore our souls should keep them. The things that we have read in the scriptures, those are testimonies of Yahweh Bashim Shai and what has been done, what they have done in the earth. So guess what? Therefore we keep those within us. We keep our soul keeps them, our heart keeps them. Why? Because those are the instructions on how to work according to Yahweh Bashim Shai. It says, the entrance of thy words giveth light, It giveth understanding unto the simple. So the entrance of the words of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai giveth light. It enlightens us. It shows us the way. It helps us see. And it also gives understanding unto the simple for those that don't know, for those of our people that don't know or don't quite understand. It is clear for them. Real quick, let's see what is it, 130. I'm gonna jump up to 105 of Psalms 119. It says, Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. So the words of the Lord are a lamp to our feet and a light unto our path. It helps us see. It helps us be able to walk and maneuver the way he wants us to maneuver. And it helps us work according to the blueprint that the Lord has set up, because Yahweh Yahushua is the architects of this thing. They set it up. We the workers. And every worker has his job to do. You got, we'll say, a construction site. They building the house. You have the carpenters that deal with the wood. They cut wood, they nail it together, they hang up plywood, all that stuff. You have the electricians that come in and wire. You have the plumbers. You have the brick masons or the concrete masons, whichever one you want to call it. You know, that lay the foundation. You know, so everybody has a job. Everybody has a position to play. You know, you got guys that they may be good at working saws, whether it be a sawzall, a skill saw, a circular saw, you know, or even an old regular hand saw. But nonetheless, we all have a position, and we all should have the same mind to work for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. But let's continue. Nehemiah. And this was, you know, I'm gonna bring out specific points. I don't want to do too much talking. Specific points on just working, you know, and how, you know, back then, and you know, when people was rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem in 445 BC, you had Sanballat and his constituents, which Sanballat is a Moabite, you know, and his constituents mad because Jerusalem, or Jake, should I say, was building up the walls of Jerusalem, the breaches, and closing them up. But let's get a few points, and then this is Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 1. It says, But it came to pass that when Sanballat heard that we builded the wall, he was wroth, and took great indignation, and mocked the Jews. So you got to think, when this old raggedy ass Moabite heard that Jake was rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem and closing the breaches of it up, guess what? He was wroth, meaning he was angry. He was mad because these heathens want us to be in a low, broken down, dilapidated state, not working for Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Let's flip that round to today. Sanballat today is the tabernacles of wickedness, and we know who they is. We ain't even got to say no names. We know who they are. They know who they are. They know that we know who they are. But nonetheless, guess what? They are wroth, though. Bump it. Sanballat today, you know, just a comparison. Sanballat today is Esau. Why? It is what it is. It's Edom. They mad. Why? Because we are building, but this time it's spiritual. So now they fighting against us spiritually. In the times of 445 BC, it was a physical thing, so they physically fought against us. But nonetheless, these heathens, especially one in particular and his constituents, are now wroth and angry and have indignation and mock us because we're building ourselves up through the power and spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. The Lord is restoring us. So now guess what? They fight against us now. That's why you have all kind of guidelines, community guidelines. You have all kind of speech clauses, hate speech clauses. All that. That's them fighting against us being built back up. But see, the temple is being built spiritually now. It's not a physical thing. It's spiritual now. Hard to fight against something spiritual when you ain't spiritual. See, the Most High know how to get these heathens. But nonetheless, let's continue. verse 2, and I'm going to jump down. It says, and he spake before his brethren and the army of Samaria and said, what do these feeble Jews? So guess what? This heathen was mad. And guess what he said? What do these feeble Jews do? What these feeble Jews doing? What they think they doing, basically. Will they fortify themselves? You like what they gonna do? Build a wall up and protect themselves? Talking very proudly. Will they sacrifice? Will they make an end in a day? Meaning what they gonna do? They're gonna build it up in a day. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do that. You know. Will they revive the stones out of the heaps of the rubbish which are burnt? So these are questions, because you got to think these heathens was attacking our people. And guess what? They still attacking our people. See, for this, then it was a physical thing. And this Sanballat and his constituents, mainly Sanballat, was talking trash. What they doing? Guess what? The same thing is applicable today to today's time. We're building up. We're building the temple. The Lord is restoring the breaches. Brothers is building upon the walls, building Yasharallah back up. And what these heathens doing? Who they think they is? What are they? They're not the Jews. They're not the true people. They're all kind of stuff, because they mad. Because first off, the men of the Lord have the same mind to work. They don't like that, because now they can't tear nothing down, because it's spiritual. So they fighting against us spiritually now. That's why they got all kind of stuff, trying to demonize and all that tomfoolery right there. But let's continue. I'm gonna jump down to verse 6. It says, so built we the wall, and all the wall was joined together unto the half thereof, for the people had a mind to work. So it got to a point to where Jake had done built up the walls of Jerusalem so much, so guess what? The breaches had done closed up, joined together, one half to the other half. Why? For the people had a mind to work. And guess what? We should have that same sentiment in this day and age. Doing the work of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, having a mind to work, having the same mind to work, to be obedient to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Verse 7. I'm going to jump down to verse 7. It says, but it came to pass that when Sanballat and Tobiah and the Arabians and the Ammonites and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were made up and the breaches began to be stopped, they were very wroth. So these raggedy heathen nations in this time in 445 BC was mad that Jerusalem, Jake had done made up the walls and the breaches had to been stopped and being closed up, and they was mad. And guess what? That same thing applies to today's time. They're mad because now Jake is waking up. Jake's starting to know. Jake's starting to subscribe to being an Israelite like he's supposed to be. Starting to call on the Heavenly Father's name and do right and walk according to the law, statutes, and commandments, being built up, and the breaches are being stopped. And guess what? Sanballat and his heathen his constituents, like I said, I'm using Sanballat in what it is, interchangeable with Edom, because how El Blanco Hombre is, but nonetheless, they are wroth, they're angry. They don't want us to be built back up. They don't want us having the same mind to work for Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. They want us to stay torn down and dilapidated and desolate. Verse 15, I'm jumping down. It says, and it came to pass when our enemies heard that it was known unto us, and Yahweh had brought their counsel to naught, that we return all of us to the wall, everyone to his work. So you got to think, this done came to a point to where, guess what? These other heathen nations know that we know that they on some tomfoolery. Salakia is a distraction. It's getting my effing nerves. Salakia, as I was saying, verse 15, and it came to pass when our enemies heard that it was known unto us. And see, our enemies know that we know they on some tomfoolery, and they don't want us to rebuild. They don't want us to have the same mind to work together for Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. They don't want that. And they know that we know. And we know that they know that we know. But nonetheless, let's continue. It says, and it came to pass when our enemies heard that it was known unto them, and Yahweh had brought their counsel to naught, that we returned all of us to the wall, everyone into his work. So it done came to pass. And guess what? The Lord is going to bring their counsel to naught. It's going to bring their counsel to nothing. And guess what? After these events that the Lord is going to bring to pass, to take down the border of wickedness and the tabernacles of we'll say the uncouth, guess what? We're going to start, guess what? We're going to return to our work again, and we're going to continue to build up Yasharallah and build up Israel until we're back to our former glory. We're going to continue, and we're going to return to our work and continue to do the work of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai in the kingdom. Even now, we're still doing the work. They try to stop us. They want to stop us. That's why they're going to make up all kinds of tomfoolery and lies. But it's not going to work. You can't stop Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. You can't stop a move. I ain't going to say a movement. You can't stop a force. Or you can't stop something when it has been arrayed correctly and moving forward. Especially when it's been arrayed correctly and solidified and founded in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. Righteousness and truth. You ain't stopping that. It ain't happening. Let's see. And even now, we are still building. And guess what? Verse what this is? Verse 17. It says, "They which builded on the wall, and they that bear burdens with those that ladded, everyone with one of his hands wrought in the work, and with the other held the weapon." So you got to think, we're working for Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, and guess what? But we still holding a weapon, so we building and fighting. Except for it's just spiritual now. But nonetheless, these heathens, Sanballat, don't want us to work. They wroth. But guess what? They ain't running up, because we building, but we building with a sword in hand, brothers, with a spear. We ready. We building, but at the same time, you run up if you want to. You're getting slaughtered. Proverbially, of course. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing that Esau has tried to do. Getting random cats going around talking about that they're Israelites and killing people. That's something else Esau gonna try to move forward with. You got to expose this devil. But nonetheless, we're building. But guess what? We still got a weapon in hand. Verse 18, "For the builders, everyone had his sword girded by his side, so we always ready. And so builded. And he that sounded the trumpet was by me." So there you go. We building, man. And guess what? They had a mind to work, to get that task done, to build according to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. That's why, again, that's why I said in the top of this lesson is we ought to have the same mind to work. To work what? For Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. Let's continue. Let's see. So again, verse 21, it says, "So we labored in the work. Half of them held spears from the rising of the morning to the stars appeared." So we labor in the work of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. And it says, "Half of them held spears from the rising of the morning to the stars appear." So guess what that means? Brothers is constantly working. Day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out. It's always a brother doing a lesson or dropping a lesson. It's always a brother building, working. And we just ought to have that same mindset, to work, to do according to what the Lord wants us to do. to work, to build, because the Lord is building us up. But you got some that are angry and mad because we are being built up. And they don't want us to be built up. But I don't really give a flying flip on what they want. But let's continue. And again, back then in Nehemiah, this was physical. But what we're building now, the temple that we're building now, is spiritual. So guess what? Let's go to 2 Corinthians. Chapter 10, verse 4. It says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yahweh to the pulling down of strongholds." I'm going to go on and hit verse 5 too. "Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of Yahweh, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach." So the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Though Esau tries to make that happen. He tries to put that wicked whack left field vibration out, as he's tried to do, But the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. So now we fight with spiritual weapons in our hand. We build it, but now we got a spiritual sword in our hand while we build it. Because the building now, the temple is being built, is spiritual now. It ain't a physical thing. It's spiritual. So guess what? The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. So we ain't physically fighting them off with swords, but we fighting them off spiritually. And guess what? Because we have the mind to work, and we're working through Yahweh B'Shem Shai, guess what? It is working, and it's pulling down their strongholds. It's pulling down their tomfoolery. It's pulling down their lies. It's pulling it down. And casting down every imagination and every high thing that exalted itself above or against Yahweh B'Shem Shai, and bringing every thought into captivity. Bringing every action into captivity under the obedience of Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, under righteousness, under truth. And they don't like that. That's why they wroth. That's why they mad. That's why Sanballat got all his guidelines and community rules and all that stuff, and hate speech clauses and everything like that, trying to stop the temple from being built. But this is of Yahweh B'Shem Shai, so it's casting down those imaginations. It's pulling down the strongholds of the wicked. And you know what I'm saying? Anything that's exalting itself against or above the knowledge of Yahweh B'Shem Shai is bringing it into captivity. The thoughts, actions, and everything under the obedience of Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. Yahweh Shai. So, ain't nothing they can do. You can't do nothing for the truth, but you can do everything for it. One example is No Class Malone. Like school on Saturday. Let's continue. 1 Peter. There we go. Chapter 2, verse 5. It says, "Ye are also Slakia, lively stones, are built up a spiritual house and holy priesthood to offer up spiritual sacrifice acceptable to Yahweh by Yahweh Shai Hamashiach." So we're lively stones, and we're built up a spiritual house. The temple is being built spiritually. We are a holy priesthood. We set aside. We different from everybody else to offer up spiritual sacrifice acceptable to Yahweh through Yahweh Shai or by Yahweh Shai. So this is who we are. And they don't want us building. They don't want us built up, because they know once Yasharal is built up, ain't gonna be no more. Ain't gonna be none more of that tomfoolery that we see, because it's gonna get put down. It's going to be brought under the subjection of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. It's going to be put under righteousness. And you got to think these other nations, these heathen nations, Sanballat and his constituents, they going to learn by the law. They going to get broken in half when they don't do what they supposed to do, according to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And guess what? The men of the Lord in the kingdom, that's going to be our job. Working for Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And in that time, we're going to really be on one accord then. But let's continue. 1 Thessalonians. Chapter 1. I'll start at verse 2. It says, we give thanks to Yahweh always for you all, making mention of you in our prayers. And that's the truth. True men of the Lord, real brothers, they do that. They pray for other brothers. You know, giving thanks to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua for the other brothers, because we learn from each other. We bounce ideas off each other. We learn from each other. You know. And we make mention of each other in prayer, in our prayers. Verse 3, the point. It says, remembering without ceasing your work of faith and labor of love and patience of hope in our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach in the sight of Yahweh and our Father. So we remember without ceasing our works of faith. So we remember, like, it's like it. We remember. We call it to mind the works that the brothers are doing that they do in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. That labor of love and patience in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and hope in our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach in the sight of our Father Yahweh, which is our God. And we do these things, and this is something that we do. Hold on, Salakia. Just people have distracting energy. Let's continue, man. Once more. Verse 3. Verse 2. It says, we give thanks to Yahweh always for you all, making mention of you in our prayers. And that's what true brothers do. You know. Remembering without ceasing your work of faith. So we call it to our own minds, the works that brothers do. You know, even in this camp, we'll be like, you know, sometimes, hey, brother, you all right out? You know what I'm saying? You might need to, you ain't been doing no lessons or nothing. You good out? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes brothers do go through things, but nonetheless, that's calling in remembrance without ceasing their work of faith. Because every brother, we laborers, man, we fighting. We building this same temple. We building this. Every brother is a brick. Every brother is a worker. So we call those things to our memory. I don't know why the flying flip phone is falling over my words today, but let's continue. Remembering without ceasing your work of faith and labor of love and patience and of hope in our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach in the sight of Yahweh, our God, which is our Father. So we do these things before the eyes of the Lord, giving thanks for brothers, praying for brothers, you know, asking the Lord to strengthen brothers, to increase their faith. So why? So they can have the mind to work for Yahweh Bashim Yahushua in truth and sincerity, in humbleness and in edification of the body. So we ought to have the same mind to work. Go back to Corinthians, Salakia. This time, 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Verse 58. It says, therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. So It says, be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work, increasing in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, learning new things, learning how to do whatever job that the Lord is giving you better. Learning little intricate ways to do it, you know. And I'm gonna use the brother Akkad of the Langsden camp, because he done did construction and all that stuff. He do that stuff, so he know, you know, the importance of doing the work the right way. Because if you do one wrong thing, you could mess up a whole side of a building for one wrong mistake. You know, so that's why the Lord says, "What? Be ye steadfast and unmovable, always abounding, ever increasing, and learning how to do your job better, learning how to work for Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua better." You know, learning how to do the job. I ain't gonna say necessarily quick, but learning how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, a brother might need some help. Hey, y'all know how to do that. And right back to your job. You know what I'm saying? Abounding, but learning how to do your job effectively and working in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? Because what we do, the work that we do, it is not vain. It is not of no use. It is not of no benefit. It is very beneficial to work for Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, because we have something coming. You know what I'm saying? You can read Hebrews. You know, cast not away therefore your confidence. You know, you can go to Peter, give diligence and things of the sort like that, which that's my last point. But nonetheless, abounding, succeeding, becoming better in the work of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua at the pace that the Lord wants you to increase. You can't increase yourself. You can't increase yourself. Let me make sure that was clear. You can't increase yourself. It is the Lord that does the increasing. So it's best to have the same mind to work for Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. My last point, 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 10. This is, wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if ye do these things, ye shall never fail. So when you do these things, do the work. That's how you work. What? Wherefore the brethren, give diligence. Work for Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua to make your calling and election sure. It says, for if you do these things, you will not fall. So if you do what you're supposed to do and you work according to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, guess what? You won't get fired. You know what I'm saying? He won't tell you, hey man, get off my work site. You ain't doing what I want you to do. And you can best believe you're not gonna get paid. You already know how Jake is. You're not gonna get paid. You out there working and you doing things any kind of way, and it ain't right. And Jake done said something to you a handful of times, and you still ain't corrected it. Hey, going on slide on up out of here. You know what I'm saying? No, you ain't getting paid. You ain't doing what you supposed to be doing. That's the same thing that applies to doing the work of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. Look at those who wasn't working right, who wasn't doing what they were supposed to do, building how they wanted to build, using untempered mortar, doing what they want to do. Where they at now? Where they at? Answer that question. Where they at? They not working for Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua no more. They ain't abounding in the faith. They ain't increasing in the wisdom and the knowledge and the understanding. So we got to have a mind to work, man. We ought to have the same mind to work for Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. Shalom.